Metaphor is essentially about connecting things which is not normally connected. One metaphor which I'm very fond of is metaphor of Mr. A.R. Rahman. For Mr. A.R. Rahman, talent of music is God-given. I literally interviewed him for 2 hours. Talent is never enough, even for the musical storm.
Metaphors are great. They help us draw comparison between two subjects in discussion to convey a degree of meaning characterizing the first one. Today we have Dr. D.J.E Ravi Thilagan, a metaphor artist who has keen interest and expertise in metaphors, biographies, epics and movies, who relates them with leadership and management concepts. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Mashu, for having me here.
So, from your profile, I've learned that you have been an HR professional. You are into management and leadership training and coaching people. And one word that was very interesting to me was you are a metaphor artist. And when on the mirror you first saw you have a metaphor artist in you?
Not really. When I see myself in the mirror, I don't see anything like that.
Okay.
I have been working in the industry for nearly 30 years. Actually, a little more than 30 years I worked in various companies. My last assignment was with Financial Software and Systems as their head of HR. So I was a regular practicing manager. I had some interest in academics, so I did my PhD also during the course of my time. About 15 years back, I got interested in this metaphors. I didn't call that as metaphors that time. Actually, the metaphor word I coined little later. I got struck by one movie. The movie called Troy.
Okay.
This is on the basis of Iliad, Helen of Troy. The movie is Troy, Brad Pitt's movie. I saw that movie in the theater. Without subtitles. I did not understand much of it actually, but I was impacted by that movie. I liked it so much, so I bought a video DVD along with subtitles, and I watched it. I watched for 50 days continuously.
Oh,
so 50 times I watched.
Okay.
So 50 times I watched. I knew the script fully. From the beginning to the end, I knew the script. It is a bit of hard work actually, because you know that. You still get interested in watching it again and again. Then the mind goes a little deeper into the story, the context of it, and the background of it, and tries to connect with something else. So I did one module, leadership lessons from Troy.
Oh,
that's what I did first.
Okay.
I did not do it so quickly actually. It took about 6 months for me to make my first module. And I presented it in my Madras Management Association. It was a very fascinating experience for me. I loved it. And it did go very well. Then slowly this interest picked up, and this is like an intoxication, But I'm a very, very slow guy. For the past 15 years, I've been working on this kind of thing. I have something like 21 modules, that's all.
Oh.
So each one takes about 6 months to even 9 months. So when I'm working on one module, I get completely involved in that. I get a little crazy about that. If I talk to anybody, I will talk about that one. I will try to pick up their ideas. I generally want to share with that. When I'm telling about module to them, I'm looking at their facial expressions, what happens in their eyes, movement, and kind of thing. Then if something is not interesting, I try to, because many people may not tell me this is rubbish, but the face will tell me. If I get the wrong cue, then I go and try and redo that. Several times I do it again and again. Then I did a series for MMA, I think I must have done something like 12 or 13 programs for them on various metaphors that I made over a period of time.
Okay.
I did make these presentations in universities and colleges. I think I would have spoken in some 100 universities in India. Especially one metaphor which I'm very fond of is metaphor of Mr. A.R. Rahman.
Okay.
I was doing research on him for quite some time.
Okay.
I was very fascinated with him. Of course, everyone is fascinated
Yes.
about him because his music is so good. But not just on music. I was fascinated about that person also. I was trying to profile him actually. And I read his biography, many biographies, 2-3 biographies, and articles on him, interviews by him, interviews on him by others, what others say about him. And one day, I was in the train from Chennai to Bangalore. I was sitting in the train. In the compartment, very few people will be there. In front of me, I saw Mr. Keith Peters.
Okay.
Keith Peters is a guitarist with A.R. Rahman. Not only that, I know A.R. Rahman so well. I know all the people who are around him also. I know him. Whoever is playing any instrument, I know them. I've done work on. So I knew Keith Peters so well. Of course, he doesn't know me. I know him because what he said about A.R. Rahman, I know. Where all his quotes are there in the book, I know. So I started talking about him because there is a connect because you know that guy. I literally interviewed him for 2 hours on Mr. A.R. Rahman. So I got enormous amount of materials which I cross-checked in the book, in a Kamini Matai's book. So when I was doing this, metaphor is essentially about connecting things which is not normally connected. Okay. It is not just telling the story. Okay. It is to tell a story and connect it to something else. That's crux of metaphors. So I was looking for some connection. Okay. So I used to browse through this bookshops. There's a book I stumbled upon. This book is called Talent is Never Enough by John C. Maxwell.
Oh.
I just stumbled upon. I do not know whether I was looking for the book or the book was looking for me. I do not know. But I just stumbled on. John C. Maxwell says talent is important. Talent is God-given. But there are plenty of people who are talented were unsuccessful. They did not do well, plenty of them. There are many, many examples. But there are some people who have the talent and also made the right choices, who made it very big in their life. They were very successful. That is the crux of effectiveness. That's what John C. Maxwell talks about. He talks about 12 choices successful people make so that they are successful or effective in their life.
Okay.
When I was reading Kamini Matai's book on A.R. Rahman, The Musical Storm, she is also talking about the same thing. John C. Maxwell talks about 12 choices effective person should make. And Kamini Matai is talking about the same 12. That saying that A.R. Rahman is living those choices.
Okay.
But there are no references. They are written in different parts of the world. One is a US based book. John C. Maxwell does not, I don't know whether he is, maybe he has heard about him. He didn't write thinking of him. And Kamini Matai has no reference of John C. Maxwell at all. It just happens. This effectiveness, the principles are the true principles, and this man is for living that principle. So I connected both.
Okay.
So I call this presentation Talent is Never Enough, even for the Musical Storm. So John C. Maxwell gives the theory and A.R. Rahman gives the demonstration of theory, which I like to do that. Yeah, I get a kick out of that.
Okay. Could you give a crisp version of this presentation that you have been talking about?
See, I'll give you 3-4 choices. Okay. Maxwell says the first choice one should make is ability to focus.
Okay.
Talent is God given. We have no say in that. But God gives everybody something. He never sent anybody empty-handed. He sent everybody with something. There is a metaphor in Bible which talks about the story of talents. It is the story where a rich man was there. He wanted to go out of city for some years. He had 3 servants. He called all the 3 servants, and the first one he gave 5 talents of gold.
Okay.
In Hebrew, talent is a measure of gold. It's like sovereign. He gave 5 talents of gold. The second one, he gave 3 talents of gold. The third one, he gave 1 talent of gold. He said, you do the best with these talents of gold, and went away. And after some years, he came back and he called those servants.
Okay.
All 3 of them came. And the first one, he asked him, I gave you 5 talents of gold. What did you do with that? He said, Master, you gave me 5 talents of gold. I invested those talents in the business. I worked very hard. Had sleepless nights. Sometimes I thought I'm going to lose all of that because the business was quite risky. Nearly I lost it. But I worked really hard. But God has been kind, and the business did well. So now I have, instead of 5, I have 10 talents of gold. I have doubled it. So the master was very happy. He said, yes, I'm very happy with you. Come and sit next to me. He asked him to sit next to him, the right hand side. The second guy came. He asked him, what did you do? He also said something very similar. He has made it into 6. 3 became 6. He asked him to sit in the next side. The master was so pleased with him. The third one came. He asked him, what did you do with the talent that I gave you? He said, Master, I know you are a very tough master. And if I mess it up, with the talent, if I lose the talent, you will be very harsh with me. I knew you will come and ask me. So I was very careful about that. I buried the talent behind my house. Now I realize that you come here, you are going to ask for the talent. I went there, picked it up back, it is safe. This is the talent. 1 talent you give. And the master was very angry with him. He didn't use the talent.
Yeah.
And he got him whipped. This is what the Bible story says.
Okay.
Of course, here we are not talking about gold at all.
Yes.
We are talking about talents that God gave. If we don't utilize the talent, then we have a problem. So John C. Maxwell, of course, starts up with this story. He says, how will you use the talent? How will you make the right choices? One of the choices that he says is, you must focus. That is a choice. Talent is God-given. For instance, for Mr. D.J.E Rahman, talent of music is God-given, undisputed. But the point is, maybe another 100 people he gave like that, even during that time. But this man made the choice of focus. He says, in his early days, in 1986, when he was beginning, when D.J.E Rahman and we are in the same age group actually. He's a little younger to me.
Okay.
I started my career in 1986. He was also more or less, he was fairly successful by the time 1986. He must have been, 19, 20 years. Yeah, he was reasonably successful. Coming with I says, he was completely involved in that thing. If you have to make him talk about anything other than music, you have to force him. When he was playing instruments for Mr. Ilayaraja sir, there is a practice session going on, and there is a gap in between. There will be an interval. And people went out to have coffee, tea, and cigarettes, smoking and all. But this boy did not go anywhere at all. He was playing on his keyboard, practicing. He's completely lost into this. That time.
Okay.
So the fingers became much better than other talented fingers. This finger became special because it was working for 18 hours a day, constantly, without anybody. He's going, raising her, focused. That was then. But even now, he says, one of the interviews, he says, if I'm listening to Tambura and I'm playing this one more raga, he says, I'm playing this raga, if there is another thought, I go flat. Another thought, I go flat. So he goes on to say, I constantly cleanse my mind. The way we cleanse our body, I'm constantly cleansing my mind and keeping it empty. This is a choice. This is not talent.
Yeah.
This, you and I can do it.
Yeah.
If you and I can do this kind of focus, we cannot make music, but we can do whatever we do very well. You understand that?
Yeah.
You know, that's magic. If we can get completely lost into whatever we do, then we can excel in whatever we do. That's what John C. Maxwell says. That is what this man is practicing.
Yeah.
You know, focus is one important thing. See, in this world, now especially, it is so very difficult to focus. There are so many things are happening. When I was growing up in my village, it's a small village called Sayarbram. The school was very close by. It was a little school. We went to the school and came back by 3:34. But once we come inside, the village became absolutely quiet. There was nothing happening, no noise, nothing. There's no TV, no iPad, iPod, nothing was there. We just had our textbooks, we were reading. Focus was default actually. But you take my house, there are big TVs are there, the high-speed internet is there, iPad is there, iPhone is there, and everything is there, It's a lot more difficult for the children of today to focus. It's a big choice they have to make. Attention is the most important resource now. Everyone wants your attention, grabbing you, taking you, pulling you in different directions. So we have to get completely disciplined and focus on what we have to do. It's a big choice.
Okay. So you get a lot of chance to disseminate content, and as you disseminate, what do you learn from the people you train?
For instance, give you the example of a student from Pondicherry University who did a project with. She wanted to do a project on change. So I was trying to make her come out with a metaphor of change. She only gave me the metaphor of the blacks, the liberation of blacks.
Okay.
She talked about that. We had some interaction and we said we will look at this liberation of blacks into 4 segments. Segment 1, slavery to non-slavery. Okay. They were slaves for thousands of years, and one thing happened. Wilberforce got this bill passed in British Parliament. They became non-slaves. That is one change, huge change. And non-slavery to equality, that is another change. That change is still going on. It's a nebulous change. And equality to excellence is another stage, another huge change. That is a time of Carl Lewis, Will Smith, Oprah Winfrey, all these people who overtook the whites, overtook the others. They became excellent. And of course, the final one is excellence to leadership, Barack Obama's stage.
Yeah.
She told me, all this change goes through the same process, sir. Looks like the cycle is the same. That's what she said. Then we, went around and looked for theories of change, and we discovered John Carter's model of change.
Okay.
He's a professor in Harvard University. He's a famous guy for change. His model, we superimpose in all of this. It fits. I used this story of Wilberforce to demonstrate John Carter's model of change.
Okay.
I learned from her actually.
Okay.
Yes, these young people are very, very interesting, and they make me think.
So that's great. You give the credits to your inspirations. So could you pull out a metaphor right from this environment and relate it to something?
Normally, I work on a metaphor for a long time.
Okay.
It's like creating a garland.
Okay.
It takes time. Sometime back, I had to speak in one university in Delhi. They gave me a topic. I agreed. And I wanted a metaphor for that. This is on the journey of excellence. That's the topic they gave. Journey of excellence. I wanted a metaphor for that. But I didn't get the idea at all. I was cracking my head and how do we put it together. I had a story all right.
Okay.
I had the story of great debaters. This is a group of black students from a less known college, Bailey College. They went on to win Harvard debate.
Okay.
Debated with Harvard, they won, and it's a historical movie. And they became so successful. Even the debaters subsequently they became very successful. It's a great, inspiring story of ordinary people who did extraordinary thing. Journey of excellence. I wanted to use that story, but I wanted a metaphor to connect. It is not telling story. It is to connect it with something which is not normally connected, and then the impact is good. This is my idea. So I didn't have that idea. So I was in the airplane actually. It's about 2.5, 3 hours flight. So I was thinking what to be the metaphor. The airplane took off. I got the metaphor.
Great.
Airplane is the metaphor.
Great.
Okay. How this airplane burns itself, the enormous amount of fuel is burnt. Not only that, it goes through the enormous amount of preparation, checking, verifying, and trial, and burning fuel, and creating the momentum, then takes off. Excellence is like that.
Great.
I put together, and this is the fastest metaphor I did.
Great. This reminds me of a quote of Rumi. In order to give light, first learn to burn. That is one quote. Yeah, that is what exactly you are fixing it. The topic you mentioned, the journey of excellence, hints me to ask another question. What could be the suitable metaphor for people who always want to win?
See, I think everyone wants to win.
Yeah.
Always, all of us, without any exception, whatever we want to do well, and we want to win. Okay. That's, I think, more or less a common phenomena. It's a human nature. There are quotes which says that you should only compete with yourself and you should not compete with others. It's a very nice philosophy. I agree with that. While I understand win-win game, I also know win-lose game is there in this world. Not every time you can make everyone to win. There is a race which is going on. Now I teach students in universities. I find them very competitive, and I like that competition. That makes us better and better and better. That drives us. Want to run faster than you. But there's one catch there. It should not become, I want to run faster than you. It should not become, I should make you run slower. That becomes negative. If I try to pull you down, then it is negative. As long as I want to try to run faster than you, I am on a positive track. It is better for us. I think we should always try to avoid that aspect of competition. Otherwise, it's great. I am competitive.
You've been telling that being competitive and having a competing spirit is great, but it should not be pulling others' legs down, which hints me to ask you this, that only when people feel incompetent of themselves, they get into all such negative activities. What's your take on this?
Quite possibly, actually. I'm able to relate to what you're saying. When they are not competent enough, perhaps they want to pull others down. That's a paradox of this competition. While I appreciate this competition, bettering others, running that race, it is very important in our life to work as a team. So I was looking for a metaphor. It's a metaphor of teamwork. And metaphor of teamwork using live concert. I've been thinking about for a long time, and but the thing did not put together properly. I attended a concert by Mr. A.R. Rahman, by the way. You know, this Chennai concert. The way it was conducted, there's about 100 people are there on the stage. Then subsequently I read about 200 to 300 people are working behind the stage for about 3 months to put together a show for 3 hours. 300 people, 3 months to put 3 hour show on that. And that those musicians which are there, they are the best ones. Because they are very competitive. They worked hard. That's how, then only you can work with Mr. A.R. Rahman. Yeah. Highly competitive, highly individualistic, accomplished musicians, 100 of them, and work together as a team. Organization is also exactly that. Highly competent, highly competitive people working together as a team. Only then the organization will do well. Here only then music will come. Otherwise violin will come, piano will come, music will not, a song will not come. Yeah. They have to blend together. So I try to compare this with that. On a concert, all these 100 people are passionately involved. They work together so beautifully and the music comes. Yeah. Okay. But in the organization, there are very competitive, intelligent people, competing people, but they compete even inside the organization. Yeah. They have to compete with the, competitor, but they compete with each other. This is not happening on the concert, but it's happening in the organization. Why it is happening? The theme is this. The concept of teamwork is the same in concert as well as organization. The principles, if you look at dot to dot, it is the same. The difference is only this. On the concert stage, if they are not working as a team, it will be seen immediately. Yeah. The song will fall flat immediately. In the organization, if you are not working as a team with all the people, the effect will be seen after 6 months. Here it will come after half a second. Yeah. Because it comes immediately, they know they cannot fall. Somehow they put together, blend together. They don't attend a program on teamwork, but they work as a team. Yeah. So perhaps we should learn the principles of teamwork from a concert. I made one more module on that.
Great. So far we have been talking about journey of excellence, competing and the spirit of competing, how it should not be. And now we have this question: if life is a relay race, should we be the one who hands over the baton or the one who takes it further?
I think it's very interesting. I think it should be both. But we have to run our race, definitely, and hand it over to the next person at the right time. Okay. And run the next race. Because if we hold on to the baton ourselves, we don't have a chance to go to the next stage. No one can run the same race all the time. I was sort of a veteran in the corporate world. Now I'm a beginner. I'm learning new things, and I'm reporting to people who are much junior to me, much younger than me. And because I am aware, they know more than me. It's a great learning opportunity. And it's another race. I should not be hanging on with my earlier baton. That baton is gone, finished. Now there's a new baton. So I am working on one more thing. It is not completed. One metaphor. This metaphor of letting go. There is a statement in Bible which says this. It goes like this. If you cling to something, you will not see it. If you can let go of it, you will find it.
Great.
This is a statement from Bible. So, how do we let go? There's so much work is done on the power of letting go. The ability to not to cling, but to let go is an extremely powerful concept. I'm creating one module on that.
Again, Rumi says that life is all between letting go and holding.
Correct.
There is one quote like that. We've been talking about journey of excellence and the attributes that people should develop to be a team player and to create win-win situations. And now each one has their own potential. That is one key thing, one bottom of line that you have been stating time and again through this interview. Now tell me, sir, what is the way out to realize our own full potential?
I have done some work on emotional intelligence. I have a module on emotional intelligence. Perhaps that answers this question to some extent. Daniel Goleman says it is about understanding oneself. The first step of emotional intelligence is understanding your potential, understanding yourself, then managing yourself, then understanding others, then managing your relationship with others. These are the 4 things he talks about. Many of us don't know sufficiently about ourselves. We really don't know. We think we know. That is the biggest problem, actually. There is a song by ABBA, knowing you, knowing me, this is the best I can do. This is a song. This is how it goes. It's a famous song. I'm asking a question on this. Are you sure? Knowing you, knowing me, this is the best you can do. Are you sure about the first part to begin with? Knowing me or knowing you? It's a huge question, actually. We really don't know. We know very little about ourselves. How do we find out? First, then I'll be able to handle managing my potential and utilizing my potential. The first step is understanding myself. The second step is managing myself. Perhaps sometimes I wonder the second step comes first.
Yeah.
Only when I start managing myself, I will start understanding myself.
Yeah.
It's a very nebulous thing. Which comes first, which comes second, we do not know. But managing others comes immediately after managing myself. You take any famous person, he's very good in that. We talked about Mr. D.J.E Rahman. Emotional quotient is exceptionally high. That is the secret of utilizing one's potential.
Could you please elaborate on this point of knowing our own potential? What practices or what steps could we take to understand ourselves?
One is asking ourselves, introspecting oneself. Simple ways of trying to find out, writing what I'm good at, what I'm not good at. When I tell myself, nothing much comes. When I start writing, little more comes. That is first step perhaps, but it's very little actually. The second step possibly is asking one's friend. There are some people who will tell. If you have a friend, you have somebody to ask that person, and if you are willing to ask and that person is willing to tell and you are willing to listen to that, they will tell.
Yeah.
What is your strengths and weaknesses, where you are going wrong, where you are not going wrong, what is good and good. Not many people will tell you that.
Yes.
Very few people we have to identify and get this gift of feedback. And of course, in the level 3, there are many psychometric tests are available to understand oneself. But level 4 is the most important thing, that is absolute self-introspection. Once you get that, get into the mode of listening to oneself, if you can calm your mind and start listening to yourself, constantly evaluating yourself, I think you will get to know a lot more than what we know. So the answer, simple answer is listening to oneself. Mr. D.J.E Rahman, there's a quote by him. He's talking about in the context of criticizing others or finding fault with them. I have no time for that because I'm constantly evaluating myself. I have no time to evaluate others. He says that. That is perhaps his biggest strength also. His self-understanding must be very high.
Your answers were like listening to a concert, very well orchestrated, cleanly knit and well delivered. Okay. So listening to that melody, now we'll have some kind of a rapid fire round. So according to you, what is the best leadership style?
I think the style where people really want to work with you.
What according to you is wisdom?
Wisdom of serpent with the innocence of dove.
You're most like book
Recently, I've been reading Homo sapiens, The History of Mankind, Homo Deus, that is a brief history of future, and the third book, 21 Lessons for 21st Century by Yuval Noah Harari.
Your favorite quote?
I traveled so far, I thought so much, all that I have done is come home, by Mahatma Gandhi.
Your favorite leader?
My favorite leader is my father, actually.
Oh, great. Thank you, sir. Thank you for being on our sets today.
Thank
it was
you.
a great show.
Thank you
nice
so
to
much.
have you here.
It was wonderful talking to you. Thank you.
Thank
so
you.
much.
And that was metaphor artist Dr. D.J.E Ravi Thilagan on our sets today at ICT Academy Dialogue. George Orwell says, advertising is a rattling of a stick inside a swill bucket. Follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. Thank you.